watch the breakdown.
Hey guys, it's Jazz. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a few mistakes that I made my first few years of college. I know a lot of you guys are going back to school soon, or a lot of you already started. So this is going to be some college tips for you that I really hope benefit you in the long run. Okay, so number one, my biggest mistake my first couple of years of college was not socializing. My freshman year, I went to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and I commuted. So if you don't know what commute means, it means you drive to school and then you go home when you're done with your classes. So literally all I did was go to class and go home. I didn't make any friends. It was kind of tragic when I look back on it. It's like, dang, I didn't really go anywhere. I didn't do anything. It was literally just school. I think a lot of people forget that social health is a very, very important part of your college experience, because you need people to unwind with whenever it comes time to releasing some stress and going out to like the movies or something, or just hanging out in general. It's good to have people you can talk to and relate to help you deal with your college experience. So if you are introverted like me, or if you're just plain antisocial, here's a few ways you can meet people. Usually during the first couple of weeks of college, you'll see a bunch of clubs outside trying to advertise themselves to get you to come to their meetings. They'll have meetings where anybody who's interested can come out and see what they're about. You don't have to join, but it's a good way to like be surrounded by people who are also interested in that club. But let's say you don't find a club that interests you. The most obvious place to find someone to talk to is in class. So definitely during the first couple of weeks of class, if you find someone who's sitting by themselves, try to walk up to them and be like, hi, is this seat taken? Or hey, is it okay if I sit here? And if they say yes, then go ahead. And then from there, you can go ahead and proceed with the next same two questions. What's your name? And what's your major? Try to end it with, hey, is it okay if I get your number? That way we can study together for this class. So even if you guys don't become super close friends, you guys have the opportunity to hang out to at least study for the class, so you have someone to talk to when it comes to that class in particular. Okay, so my next mistake, I was skipping class. So don't skip class, guys. You never know when something important happens. Sometimes the class is really boring. Sometimes they say that attendance isn't mandatory, but I know a lot of professors treat the people who do come to class. For example, I had a professor whose attendance wasn't mandatory, but he did surprise attendance logs where if you were there that day and he was taking attendance, you got extra credit points for being there even though attendance wasn't mandatory. And I tell you, every day I decided to skip class, he did it. So it was just, don't do it. You also never know when the teacher might mention something super important, like, oh hey, this is super late notice, but class is such and such. Or hey, don't forget about whatever. And if you're not socializing like I wasn't, you're not going to have anyone who's going to be able to tell you, hey, this happened in class. So you see how those go hand in hand? If you're not socializing and you're skipping class like I did, it's a recipe for disaster. So try to go to class. I know it's boring. I know sometimes you're tired, and granted, if you need that day where you just need a day off and you just can't, you're mentally and physically fatigued and you just need a day to yourself, then that's understandable. But don't make a habit out of not going to class, because you are paying for it at the end of the day. You don't want to waste your money. Get a good grade the first time and then be done with it. So don't skip class. My next mistake was something that took me forever to really realize. I love pretty notes. I love the aesthetic. I love how neat they look when you make them pretty. It just inspires me to want to actually look at them when I'm done. And I would always look at my notes and be like, oh, my handwriting is so ugly. This letter is out of place. My drawings, I am not Picasso. This looks horrible. I would just always tear myself down when I was taking notes, forgetting that the most important part of my notes was the information and not how it looked. So When you're taking your notes, find something that pleases you. I recommend that if you haven't already, find a note-taking method that you like, whether that be typing your notes or handwriting your notes, something that isn't too time-consuming, something that is effective, something that you're satisfied with. That way you don't feel the need to rewrite it. Oh, I don't like the way this looks. Oh, I didn't have enough information. Simple stuff like that will waste your time, and you'll spend more time writing your notes than you will studying. I'm not saying that you can't have pretty notes, because I definitely still try to make my notes pretty, but if you're going to take notes, take it effectively the first time around. Take it the way you like it the first time around. If you're not sure what you like, there's tons of videos on YouTube of people showing how they take notes. I recommend you look at those and find something that works for you. The only thing that matters is that it helps you retain the information for your test. Okay, so this next tip is something that I feel like we've all been doing since birth: procrastinating. I'll get potty trained later. I'll get my tooth pulled out later. This is how it usually goes. I start out so good, I'm motivated, I'm pumped, I'm doing all my work on time, I'm doing my work early, I'm finishing stuff early, and then like halfway through the semester, I'm like, bro, nope, I quit. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that before it's due. Like, I'll do that the morning of. I'll set my alarm and I'll wake up early and do it. Do not set your alarm to get up early to do some homework, because I guarantee you, you're not going to want to wake up and do your homework. It's such a hard thing to give advice on, because you know what to do. You know that you're not supposed to procrastinate. You know that you need to give yourself enough time to do your assignments. But then when it comes time to do everything, you're just tired, and there's other stuff you would rather do. Like, you don't want to do your work. You want to relax, you want to chill, you want to eat, you want to sleep, you want to, talk to your friend that you made in class, because of my first tip. But here's the trick. You don't have to do all of your work at once. Break it into sessions. Okay, I'm going to do the first half of my homework today and do the second half tomorrow, and it'll be due the day after that, and I'll be done. I won't have to worry about it. Don't stress yourself out by trying to do everything all in one sitting. That's probably the number one reason why I pushed everything off, is because I was tiring myself out doing everything at once, and so then that made me not want to do the rest of my homework. I would push off. What was I talking about? I feel like the root of procrastination is trying to do everything all at once and tiring yourself out to the point where you don't feel like doing the rest of your work. So space everything out, get a planner, keep in mind when your due date is, and keep in mind how much time you have between today and that due date, and then space everything out accordingly, so where you're not exhausting yourself trying to do everything at once. Okay, so my last and final tip is that I have not been networking. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this. There's a saying that says it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And I promise you, if you make the right connections, you'll probably be able to get a job later down the line, even if it's just like a work study job on campus. Like, a lot of times you get jobs based on who you know. They can hook you up with an interview, they can hook you up with a recommendation letter. So my tip is, if you have a class that you're doing really well in, I recommend, or even if you have a class that you're struggling in, go to see your professor very often. And I know it sounds weird, like, ew, I don't want to bother my professor 24/7, but if you have a question, instead of sending an email, ask all of your questions in person. It gives you that chance to make that face-to-face interaction, and they'll remember you by name and by face. And then the fact that they see that you've come to them so many times because you cared about the class, or because you had questions in general, they'll remember that, and it'll give them a good impression of you. They'll see, hey, she actually cares about this class. She seems like she wants to do well in this class. If they're a professor that is teaching a subject that you're majoring in, definitely go to them and ask for tips about what you want to do with your life as far as a career, and maybe they'll become a mentor. You never know, but definitely try to make connections with the staff at your college because it comes in handy when it comes time to applying to something where you need a recommendation letter. A lot of scholarships require a recommendation letter. You're gonna need that connection to a job one day. It all helps in the long run. So even though it feels awkward and it feels like, what, I gotta be friends with, you don't have to be friends with your teachers, but a lot of your teachers are actually really cool outside of class, and you would never know it if you didn't talk to them. So don't forget to network. It's something that they don't tell you very often, but network, guys, network. Those are the 5 mistakes that I have made so far in my college experience, and I don't want you to make the same. Please, please, please remember this video when you go back to school, or if you already started, and good luck with your major. Even if you don't have a major, if you're almost done, if you're just starting, just good luck. I wish you the best. If you have any questions in general, feel free to comment them below, and I would love to answer them for you. If you want to ask me a question on any of my social medias, those links are in the description. Subscribe if you aren't already, and give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!
The dash is digi, the schedule busy, my head in a hoodie, my shorty a goodie, my cousins are crazy, my cousins like boogie. Life is amazing, it is what it should be.